All right, all right. We're here today with superstar Stephanie Davis, and she joined us here at eXp. We're going to talk about her story, but first, we're going to go over a brief video about
This is Honey Badger Nation,
where real estate agents from around the globe come together
to grow, collaborate,
and expand their business.
Where we take our individual fires and put them together and make one big fire.
This is the Honey Badger Nation.
All right. So before we get started, Stephanie is, a top agent that's been in the business for, I don't know, about 10 years or so, and she's going to tell her story. And before we were chatting, and she says, "What's one big fire? What's that mean?" So there you go. We put all our little fires together and make one big fire. It's the power of collaboration at eXp and the way we do things. So welcome, Stephanie, and let's start your story with how your journey began.
So this is my 10th year in real estate, and I started because of Ed. I remember seeing an ad. I think it was, I don't know where it was, an ad posted, and I showed up thinking it was a true interview, like as if I was being hired to be a secretary or something. And he hired me and went through school, did all my classes as I was working another job, because I just felt like this was an opportunity to learn something different and potentially get out of what I was doing. So I think at the current time I was working in a hospital, and I thought I wanted to be a nurse. I don't know. Ed, did you know that?
I knew you were in the medical field or trying.
I was. So I thought I wanted to be a nurse, and I worked. And I remember I had my son, and I remember the first Thanksgiving. It was his first Thanksgiving, and I was working, and I bawled my eyes out, and I said, "I can't do this. I cannot do this. I need to be home with my babies." So I remember, quitting that job, getting a different job in mental health, kind of the same area that I was interested in. So I worked there. I was promoted. I ran the different offices within that company, and got, had my real estate license, started doing it part-time. Ed would always call me, "Steph, you can do this. You can jump. You don't need to work. You don't need to do this anymore." But I was very cautious. I knew I got my paycheck every 2 weeks. I wasn't confident enough in myself at the time. So I worked 3 more years at a dermatology office, and I was doing real estate as much as I could. Had my phone, when I was traveling an hour to work, always answered my phone. Obviously, I couldn't talk to anybody during the day, worked 410s, and I did it. And previous to this, I knew nobody in real estate. I didn't have any family members in real estate. I knew nothing. Nobody helped me do this. But I would get that phone call from Ed every time. "Steph, you got this. You can do this. I know it. I feel it. How much are you making?" That's what you said. "How much are you making?"
I did. I remember.
You did. You're like, "How much are you making?" And I'm like, "Oh, You don't even want to know."
Yeah.
So I finally, I jumped. I was working part-time and then doing that part-time. And it was funny because the manager at the time was like, "Well, this is very lenient. If you need to go, you can go. If this turns into you doing this full-time, that's fine." I think within 4 months, I was done. So 4 months, I was real estate full-time, quit that job. And it was a family member, so she understood the goal. And come to find out, she jumps into real estate. So this is Wendy.
Was it? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. So we were working together, and she was my boss at that time. And then I became her boss when she jumped into real estate. And I knew she would do amazing because we're very much alike. We're going to get it done. It doesn't matter what it is. We're going to get it done. So it started snowballing. I mean, every year I made double or triple from the year before.
Nice.
and I just loved it. Every day was different. You know, I still had the freedom to, you know, be there with the kids. I remember the first time Blake got off the bus and he ran to me because he was so excited to see mommy. And it was an awesome experience, you know? So I was still like building this empire, was really excited, and really it didn't, you know, if you're just true to who you are and you show your clients who you are and that you will move mountains to get it done, you'll get referrals. You'll get referrals because they truly, genuinely, like, they trust you. So I did that for, what was it, 3.5? I think I was 3 years full-time, building a team, you know, making a lot of money, doing my thing. And then I was offered the manager position, which was kind of on a whim. So I got my broker's license. I managed. The first year was tough. COVID hit.
Yeah.
So it was tough. Trying to manage independent contractors during a pandemic is hard. You know, they don't have to clock in. They don't have to clock out. I tried to keep, you know, everybody together on Zoom and do happy hours, just make sure everybody was, you know, as a real estate agent, you are constantly in front of people. You're constantly mingling. You are constantly doing stuff. So for us to be put in our houses and have nothing, you know, we're stagnant. So I just made sure I could, you know, keep up with everybody, make sure everybody was okay, you know, if they needed anything, but that was tough. And then the second year, you know, we're really still dealing with it at this point. I just knew my heart was in selling. Bottom line, every day was different. I wasn't sitting at a desk. I could help people, and the satisfaction of sitting at a closing table and handing those keys over, there's no other feeling, you know? So that is really, I guess, the basis of how I got into it, very carefully, even though Ed was pounding at my door and, you know, would always ask me, what are you making? You can make more here. I know you can. And I did.
Yeah,
I just needed to build that confidence.
Yeah. Well, you were doing well, even part-time. That's why I knew you could make the switch. And it's, you know, it's not uncommon for somebody to have to start part-time. Depends on your situation.
Now, being the manager, a lot of managers, you know, for those part-time agents, they almost kind of get put on a back burner.
Yeah.
You know, like, do you know what I'm saying? And you knew that I was like, come on. You were like, come on, Steph, you got this. And I did. You definitely saw it in me before I saw it in myself. So that was cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then during the pandemic, that must have been really hard. And
it was hard, especially because I was a brand new manager. I mean, I'm just, I knew what to do as an agent, right? Like I knew, and I'd have my business degree. Like I learned managing skills and things like that, but managing independent contractors is a little different than managing employees.
Well, I talked to you about that. It's like herding cats.
It's hard. And, nothing bad towards them, but, you have people focusing now, they're redoing their bathrooms and then you get the phone call. Well, I want to make more money. Well, you can't, if your focus is redoing your bathroom, I can't help you. I can't help you. You got
to get out. You got to get out there and
you got to do it. You got to work. You got to figure out a different way,
So then going back to sales, I mean, that's there's nothing wrong with that. I managed for 10 years and went back to sales.
I love sales.
Understands.
I love it.
It gives you a lot of freedom, and it gives you control of your own destiny.
It does.
And that's what being in real estate's all about. So then you made a switch. Obviously, you made the switch over to eXp. So
eXp, who was stealing my agents, taking them.
Well, we have a lot to offer. I mean, and it's not just and it's not me. It's everywhere. It's
right.
We have. I started 2.5 years ago. I think we had 22,000 agents. We now have 76,000 agents.
Right.
It's the growth is phenomenal, and and basically I came over because it was an 80-20 split with no franchise fees and no other ancillary fees that
I knew there had to be something, and I knew you did your research. I knew it.
Yep.
I mean, you were with the other brokerage for 29 years.
I was with Weichert for 29 years. Yep. And I wasn't looking to go anywhere.
Right. And I knew you weren't.
Somebody showed it to me.
Right.
Actually, the day that they showed it to me, Kathleen Smith showed it to me. The day that I went in that day, that was the day I was focused on regenerating my business because all my good listings had sold.
Right.
My inventory was down. I had some listings, but they weren't that great, and it's like, okay, so, now you got to get it going again.
Right.
And that's what I went in to do. And she hit me with this, and I'm like, that's BS. There's no way that'll work.
Right.
So then I looked into it and it worked. So obviously, my story, and I don't know if there's any particular reason that you like the eXp or you just were following.
So, I feel like we're yin and yang, Wendy and I.
Oh yeah.
As far as, it's just kind of funny how it was full circle. I worked for her, then she worked for me, and then she's, well, what about this? And I'm like, oh. And I have to say, like, I was so mentally exhausted from managing. Like, I was fried. And I said, Wendy, I can't even think right now of what I want to do. I said, and not to go down a rabbit hole, but I let my entire business fall apart, let it all go. Like who I was. And, those phone calls of Stephanie, I see your face everywhere. I had somebody I stopped at a farm stand and they were like, how come you don't really post on your business page anymore? I'm like, you looked at it? You looked at that? So like, it was, it was definitely like a punch to the gut, but I was born with a fire inside of me. And I will not stop. Like I will figure it out. I am stubborn. And me, I am cautious when it comes to making any crazy moves or anything like that. But my gut was telling me you need a fresh start. And then as I'm like thinking about it, and what I really wanted to do was get back into, I'm president of the PTA, like having more time to do that, having more time to go into the school now that we're allowed back in the school, having the time to get the kids off the bus and being around them. I can work from home, which was going to be my plan anyway, but I don't have to go to an office. I don't have to turn a file in. I don't have to do any of that. All my stuff is online and it's very cut and dry. I don't have to, call about a paycheck. Well, how is this? What's the breakdown? What gets taken out first? What's the referral? Like, I don't have to worry. It's so simple. I love it. Like, I need simplicity.
Yeah. For the audience that's out there watching, if the agents that are watching. So it is so simple. It's 80-20 split with a 16,000 cap. So it's so easy to figure out, what your commission check is going to turn into because there's no other fees.
Right.
A couple little fees, but they're standard.
But standard, exactly what they are.
Right. Yeah. And there's a $25 transaction fee, but that's but the anything you bring in goes towards your GCI, your gross commission income, and then it's split 80-20. And when you cap, it goes after you pay in 16,000, it goes to 100%, and there's no other fees. There's no franchise fee, royalty fees, any of that stuff. So so what we're going to do here with Stephanie, when she gets up to we got to get you to the icon status, which is after you cap and you do a certain number of more transactions within the calendar year, your anniversary year, then you can get up to $16,000 back in stock.
Right.
So another thing, you may not have joined for this, but you're a business partner of mine now. You're a business partner of all of ours. We all own part of eXp. We get stock awards when we have our first settlement every year. We get stock awards when we cap, and you can get a huge stock award when we get you to icon status, and that's phenomenal to get an award of $16,000 back in stock. So it's more than just the stock. It's the it's the financial alignment with each other.
Right.
So Stephanie, if you came up with a really good idea in sales and you're at a regular, I don't care where you are, if you're at Weichert or Remax or Century 21, come up with a really good idea and you think it's going to, it's really impacting your business. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to share it with everybody, or are you going to keep it to yourself? Right.
Well, at a different brokerage,
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
I have to say I'm very unique in a way that I would. I love seeing other people succeed. I definitely would share and I would help them, but that's not typical.
no, it's not typical.
I
And
mean,
it's not. So,
and my office was very unique. And I think that you came from the office, very unique in a sense that we helped everybody. But there are other offices you walk in and you can just feel like you're not asking somebody else a question.
right.
Right. They're, don't talk about a client out loud because they're going to call the client. You just got to be very careful where here, you're talking to people all over the world, and it was funny because a year and a half ago during COVID, I started liking and following real estate agents pages all over, like all different states, because I wanted to see what other people were doing. Like, I like that. I want to be unique. So I'm excited because, you can just jump in any class and you can learn that stuff.
Well, now you're at, number one, you're in part of my team EE, but that's not a standard team. I call it a modern team because we're all aligned with each other, and we're not like, I'm not running a team, but I'm here to help my team, which is, to help you succeed because we're all financially aligned with each other.
Right.
So, because of that, I have 21 agents in my team now on Team EE, and we all have fun because if we do come up with an idea, we're going to share it with each other. Now that goes 100-fold when you become part of Honey Badger Nation, which is the video that I played for you in the beginning. Right. So now that you're part of this group, you're part of Honey Badger Nation, which we have about 10,000 agents in Honey Badger Nation. We have our own private Facebook group that we collaborate through all the time. So you learn things from an agent in Texas, and there's an agent in Ohio that has absolutely nailed geographic farming and becoming the go-to agent in his community. He has like 75% market share in his community. Wow. He's amazing. You learn from him. And
that's exciting. That's exciting.
Yeah. And we all share because if it helps everybody grow, the company grows stronger. The stock goes up. We're all partners in this together.
Well, I mean, if you're not willing to learn new tricks, then so there was a video. I don't know how I got a hold of this video. And it said, do you want to be Blockbuster or do you want to be Netflix?
Right.
And that resonated with me because I sure as hell don't want to be Blockbuster. No. I don't want to be Blockbuster. No. Real estate is changing, and it's funny because everything changes. Every year changes, things change. But real estate has changed so quickly the last couple of years, and it's only gonna that's what we're not gonna stop it.
Right.
When I joined, like you said, there was like no internet or something. Like the book. I don't want to age you, Ed.
Yeah.
But I still had to print out, multiple copies. Listing agent had a copy, and everybody had to have, wet signatures. And I'm driving all over East Jabip trying to give all these copies out to everybody. But that's not how it is nowadays. Now we are literally, everything is uploaded into the system. It gets checked by, I have no idea what her name is.
Oh, they have a whole team up there that checks.
Yeah, and then it just gets recorded. Do you need this? Do you need that? It's just easy.
Yep.
It's simple.
I'm going to settlement today, and I'm bringing this. That's all I'm bringing.
Right.
My phone. I don't have any papers.
That's just the way it is. We're not going to stop it. Everything is going to be virtual. It's going to be paperless. It's going to be, and real estate's never going to change in the sense of people need people. This is a huge decision for them. It's a huge, milestone in their life to buy a home, So that's never going to go away, but how we conduct business is going to be completely different.
Absolutely. Absolutely it is. And, so you like the paperless. I remember managing during COVID. During COVID, we have a virtual world, as you know. You go in as an avatar.
I was stuck wearing a Christmas sweater for a week. I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, you had to go in and change it. Yeah,
I did.
Yeah. So I remember during COVID, we had our conventions in the world. So we had 10,000 agents together in eXp world during COVID. It was pretty cool that you could do that. I mean, I was in meetting with 1,000 people in the room, which
now
really,
is there just like one speaker, or everybody's kind of collaborating together, or how does?
Like any convention, they actually had different tracks. Like you
Gotcha.
could go, like at 10 o'clock, you could go to track 1, track 2, track 3,
and learn what you wanted to learn,
depending on the topic you wanted to go to.
Mm-hmm.
And then they even had like a hall. What do you call it? A convention hall, where you walk around the hall and they have the vendors there. The sign company and the
crazy.
And,
it's so crazy. So my kids got a glimpse of my little avatar.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Mom, is that you?" They're like, "Can we play?" I'm like, "This is not a game."
It's not a game, but
this is not a game.
That's how they developed it. It's the same software from gaming, Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
that's our agents are going to be. That's what they grew up with,
Right. And what's cool, like to me, what's cool is that eXp World Holdings, that's our stock, EXPI,
right.
And they actually own Verbella, which is the technology that operates eXp World. And we also own Success Enterprises and Success Magazine. Our founder bought Success Magazine last year, and like he's on the cover. So it's Glenn Sanford. He's the CEO of Success Enterprises. So that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's not just eXp Realty that goes into the stock.
Right.
We also own Showcase IDX, which is another search engine thing that he's working on.
I'm surprised he doesn't own KV Core.
Yeah, that's a third party, but we do get that.
We have it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was an easy transition because we have that.
Uh-huh.
And it's pretty much set up the same. Everything's
you have
your templates and things like that. So that's pretty cool.
Right. For everything you get is $85 a month, and that includes all the SkySlope, which is the transaction management system, KV Core, your own website and lead generation and all of that, and it's all part of the one fee. Which KV Core alone, for an agent that's outside that doesn't have it in their brokerage, is about $500 a month.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So the difference is when you pay $500 a month, you use every little nuance of that system. Like you learn how to use that system and make it work, right? So when you don't pay anything for it, or $85, like you don't learn all about it and use all the different tools that it has available to you. So
it's
that you got to do on your own. You got to be a self-starter in this business. That's for sure. You got to be.
Yeah, you definitely. At the end of the day, nobody's going to hand you anything.
Right.
And people will complain about referral fees, and I never once complained about a lead coming my way. Not once. Because you have to the big picture is, okay, so you do well for this person, and then what happens?
They refer you others.
Yeah, it just keeps going, So
yeah,
it's nice to. So eXp is not going to give you whatever you want. You got to pay for your signs. You got to do these things, but you're going to appreciate it. You're going to take care of them.
Right.
KV Core, that's part of the $85 a month.
Yeah.
But I was able to customize my signs, which I thought was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm just excited for, it's a lot more freeing. There's a lot more you can be creative, you can collab with people, you can, it's completely different. It's completely different.
And you're just getting started. I got to get you connected with all the right people. Like we have people that help with to learn KV Core and promote yourself with with a small advertising budget, and generate more leads and all of that kind of stuff. And another thing that's cool about Honey Badger Nation, like if you have a question, you say, hey, I'm thinking about signing up for this XYZ lead generation program. Has anybody used that? Is it worth the $400 a month or whatever the hell it is, and you put that message out there, and some people will respond and say, don't do that one. That one's a ripoff. But this one works better, or maybe it's a great one actually. And like anything, if you're investing in your business, you want to get a return on it. And
there's just so many people involved,
Yeah. So there's a lot you can do at any brokerage, but at eXp, the collaboration just blows me away. The transparency that everybody starts at the same level, so that alone levels the playing field. If you sold 10 houses last year, you're at 80-20 with a 16,000 cap.
Right. You're not getting the knock on the door. You owe me more.
Yeah. Right.
You owe me more. No, I don't.
Yeah. So what, same, you sold 500 houses, then that means you're going to cap you 80-20, 16,000 cap. So you're going to cap faster, and then you have the rest of the year at 100%. So, and then you have the other opportunities to earn stock. And there's actually another revenue. I'm going to talk about that, but it's just amazing. Like you said, what I noticed was after I came over here is that real estate brokerages are evolving, and this one is state of the art, and it's run by a genius, basically, Glenn Sanford, recognized in all of the Inman News and all the top real estate publications out there. He's just a marketing genius, and we love that. So anyway, I don't know if you froze up, Steph, but we lost you. So it was great having Stephanie on here, and we lost her internet at the very end, and we're going to follow up with her. We're going to follow up with her in a few months, and take it to the next level. So welcome, Steph. Thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon.